Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Devlog series. So, today we are discussing the world of SaaS. What is SaaS? SaaS is the acronym of Software as a Service, and we will dive into what SaaS is and why you should build one. I want to preface this Devlog session by a couple of quotes from Naval Ravikant. So essentially, these there's a book. I'll show you the book. Almanac of Naval Ravikant. So a guide to. Oh, it's truncated here. What's the? I think a guide to wealth and happiness. There you go. The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. So Naval is a angel investor in Silicon Valley. He used to be a software engineer turned philanthropist. Essentially, he didn't publish this book, but someone else, Eric Jorgensen, essentially wrote a book from his teaching. So he did a viral tweet storm about his philosophies and principles, and it was so profound that Eric Jorgensen figured he should write a book about it. And I read the book, and there's two things that essentially stuck with me. So the first one is you're not gonna get rich renting out your time. You must own equity, a piece of business to gain financial freedom. And the second one is code and media are permissionless leverage. They're the leverage behind the newly rich. You can create software and media that works for you while you sleep. So as a software engineer, to me, this struck really close to my heart because as an engineer, we have all permission leverage at our fingertips. We can create code, we can create media without. And when you say permissionless leverage, maybe I'll take a step back there. When you need to build something, or if you want to scale, you need leverage. Essentially, how do you earn money while you sleep? So there are several forms of leverage you can employ, and one of the most common thing that people use as leverage is compounding, where when you make an investment, there's a lot. Your money essentially works for you, so your money acts as a leverage for you. So the more money you have, the more leverage you essentially have. So for example, you have 100k, it earns at, for example, 4% per annum. So it gives you 4,000. Is that correct? 4,000, 4%. Yeah, that's correct. $4,000 per year if it's 4% per annum. If you have $1,000,000, then obviously your 4% will be much bigger. So the more leverage you have, the more essentially it allows you to scale. So there's two things of leverage that Naval talks about is permissionless and permission leverage. So permission not leverage is more something that needs to be given to you or someone you have to ask for. So you need some sort of permission there. So money is one form of permission leverage because you're not gonna get money without someone giving it to you. May it be form of unemployment or I guess inheritance or lottery, whatever it is. Someone else is giving it to you. You cannot spin out money out of thin air. That's why it's called permission leverage. People, when you want to start your own business, you have to buy land. You need to get licenses to operate. Several things need to be done before you can actually start your own business, and that is also several forms of leverage. So those are permission leverage as well. Each individual part of building your own business requires someone to give you a permission of what you need to do. So code and media are the only few things that are permissionless leverage, and when you can make use of those two things, you can essentially earn while you sleep. And that's why I was saying like this close. It really hits close to my heart because I've been employed several times, different companies, and what would happen is, regardless of how the impact that you bring, regardless of the value that you bring, you will always only have a certain amount of pay. So if you agree on, say for example, your pay is 100k per year, regardless of what you do, it will always be the same 100k plus tax. And so it's essentially you're renting out your time when your annual your time you're selling your time for that amount of pay. So for example, I quit my job or I go on leave without pay. Essentially you stop earning, and that to me is something very old school way of thinking it about finding money. Because, and I will go through the certain examples, but there are several companies, several engineers who actually built a software on their own, because, or even media content creators. So people have been building code and media that allows them to earn while they sleep. So content creators are the masters of creating media, and then principal or software engineers are the master of coding code. And so if you can do both, that is the golden goose. Or even if you just build one, it's really, it allows you to scale yourself. You can't beat a robot or an application working 24/7, because your servers, your application doesn't need a lunch break, doesn't need a Christmas break, doesn't need your permission to go on holidays. While you're sleeping, it will still keep earning. It will still keep working. The code, there's no emotion in code. So this is why this notion has really stuck to me. Like, why am I selling out my time when I can build my own application? And I've done it multiple times. And so this is something like, if you're interested in entrepreneurship and building your own startup and being your own boss, I highly suggest reading Naval Ravikant. It's gonna change your perspective. But I would warn you, because after you read this book, there's no coming back. You essentially, there's an itch that happens inside you that you want to pursue entrepreneurship. So if you're ready to face that challenge, if you're ready to take that leap of faith, I would definitely start looking at Naval Ravikant. So let's dive into SaaS. SaaS is one of those things that essentially creates those permission leverage. So first of all, is what is a SaaS? So I think I mentioned it before. SaaS is a software as a service. And when we think about SaaS, and even when we Google SaaS, let's see what the results are. And I already pre-Googled it. Allows users to connect to and use cloud-based apps over the internet. And our notion before of SaaS, if you look at the examples here, they're all big companies, big enterprises. And it doesn't really come to mind that you can build your own SaaS. You think SaaS is something that enterprises use. So for example, here, what are good examples of SaaS? Dropbox, Slack, Netflix is a service. So you pay Netflix to watch your favorite shows. AWS, Shopify, Zoom is SaaS because they earn money while you use their communication software. So there's actually most of the things that we use, Airbnb, Uber, they are all SaaS. And essentially, everyone is paying those softwares to make their lives a bit easier, essentially. And so, when we think about SaaS, it's always those big name companies that comes to mind. And so, it's hard for you to think, I can't build my own SaaS. It's a bit daunting to build something that will essentially help change the world or something. Even OpenAI, just to go back, OpenAI is a SaaS as well, and it's taking the world by storm. Everyone is using OpenAI to help their lives become much easier with their tasks. So SaaS is something that you are very much aware of. But I'll skip the law of affection first. But there are actually things that are, I guess, like what they call micro SaaS that doesn't is not as well known as the other applications that I mentioned. They are SaaS applications that are going through under the radar, solving niche problems and earning a lot of money without you knowing. And so I've listed a couple of examples here, and let's go through them one by one. So Headshot Pro is one of them, and so essentially the goal for Headshot Pro is just to, you know how when you need a professional photo for your, say, LinkedIn profile or your passport or your resume, and the old way of doing it is going to a studio or getting a camera or asking your friend to take a photo, they edit it, blah blah blah. And so the technology today has enabled us to actually eliminate the need for someone to actually edit your photos for you and take your photos for you. Essentially, you can see, like, step one, you just upload a few selfies and AI does all the work, and then you can download the photo. First off, I wanted to call out is this Headshot Pro has been created by one person or two. I think one, and Damon Chen is a friend of the founder here, so he's not the founder. But this Headshot Pro is created by one engineer, and I actually follow him on Twitter. So essentially, if you think about it, you can build your own end-to-end application. All the infrastructure is there. You can obviously, if you're an engineer, you already know how to build web. And OpenAI has made everything working with AI much easier. There's all sorts of AI applications that you can use, like Midjourney, and I'll discuss how to use them in a separate devlog. But this application is not too hard to build. Essentially, you can, if you know how to deploy your own application, set up your networking, build your own application, file upload, and then connect it with AI. If you think about it, it's fairly simple that one engineer could do it. I'm sure, like, the engineers here have worked on a lot more complex things, and this is not a hard application to build if you know what you're doing. And you can see, like, each person is $29 if you wanted 120 headshots per person. So as the user point of view, the value there is immense. How often can you get professional headshots for $29 and get 120 headshots in good quality as well, like you can see here? So before, in the previous pre-AI world, you would get a professional photographer, and then the turnaround time is much longer. And so, as a customer or as a user, this gives me immense value. And if you think about it, how many users did it? 30,000 customers. Let's do the math here. So 30,000 times 29. See, essentially now our solo founder who built this application is already a millionaire. He built this application once, and it's constantly working for him. His AI does the work. The server does the work. He built this website once, and then let it keep going on its own. So this is what Naval is talking about when he says permissionless leverage. And it doesn't have to also be complex. Let's go to other micro SaaS that I written down. So this one. So you might be thinking, oh, there's an AI boom. Everyone's building AI. AI is the why they're doing this micro SaaS. And this is why I explicitly wanted to keep this stage timer as an example as well. Essentially, what's this one? Let me essentially stage timer is just what it is. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's an application that is a timer. People can use it in their stage when they're on stage, and they can essentially see a timer countdown. Like, in as an engineer, this blows my mind because you can create a timer. I mean, you can. It baffles me how simple this product is. It's like monetizing Hello World when you're starting off as an engineer. Anyone can build a timer, but he built it in a way that he's solving a problem. People need a timer when they're on stage, and so his main market is people that need, and he people need this specific kind of timer on different use cases. So essentially, if you are in events, so for example, an award and Grammys, in the meetings, live stream, presentation. So it's not something that anyone would just use. He found a problem in specific use cases and then solve for it. So this is what they call the product market fit. Anyone could build a timer, but priming it and selling it to those who actually need it, and being the person to go to as the seller of timers, essentially as the expert in timers, is the hard bit. But building this is not really hard, and so you don't even need AIs here. So and let's go to the pricing here. How much does this cost? Pro. There's also 3 pricing types. So there's a starter, pro, and premium. $36 per month for a timer. So if that doesn't inspire you, I don't know what will. I will skip the PDF AI. So okay, let's go through this one quickly then. PDF AI allows you to chat to any document. So another tool that makes use of AI. Essentially, it allows you to talk to an AI. And again, these are sites that have been built by one engineer. So building full end to end, and this one has 450,000 happy users. And what's the pricing here? Do they have pricing? It's not good. It's not obvious where the pricing is. But if you think about it, even if this costs $1, you already have $450,000 here, right? And if you are looking for more inspiration, I'll stay through the end. I'm talking about like why you aren't seeing these things. And so just going through like several micro SaaS, you can immediately see that it's not really something that you can't do on your own. If you are a full stack engineer, and if you notice like why I'm also fine tuning my UX skills, the catch is you need to be a full stack engineer. I mean, you need to be able to build full end to end from scratch, design the application, the infrastructure, the payment systems. Otherwise, it will be hard for you to actually build your own microservice. So that is the motivation for me to be learning about UX UI, because that's the only thing I'm lacking as part of the full stack, building my own micro SaaS. I know design, but it's not as fine-tuned as I would like it to be, so I can start selling my own product. So I'm logging my own journey, and I've also built my own SaaS here. So I'll show you here. So Nomad Budget here, essentially it helps you track your global expense as a digital nomad. So it's not, the goal is it's just a financing accounting system where it helps you track of different currencies, and it's all working end to end. But I would like the design to become much better, and so you'll see it in the Devlogs. I'm building my own micro SaaS. Why? Essentially, it's a configurable SaaS that people could buy, because there are things that you will learn as you as you build your own microsas. So aside from financial freedom that I've been ranting about, there are things that you would need to learn or you would figure out as you build your own thing. So, for example, the full tech stack you get is authentication. So you will learn how to authenticate users via Google or Yahoo or whatever third party identity provider use. You will learn how to manage your own infrastructure, so your database, where do you store all those things, networking, DNS, how do you set up your URL, buying your own domain names, matching it to your servers, UI, payments integration. And the non-technical skills that you would learn is marketing and finding that product market fit. I think that is the most hard thing. The two things is marketing and finding product market fit. Like if you're an engineer, we're always usually lacking on the marketing side and sales side of it. So this is something you will learn. Yeah, and a good example is Stage Timer, right? Anyone could build that timer, but finding those clients was the hardest part. I'm assuming. This is why that's also one of the main, I would say, inspiration for building your SaaS. So if you see the previous devlog, I'm building your SaaS, where it's a configurable SaaS application where engineers or startup founders, tech founders could essentially build their own application quite quickly by enabling just tweaking. So essentially I've built out all these tech stack and allow it to be configurable. That way they can focus on building their key value proposition rather than building all this plumbing. I call this plumbing because, as I said, these are things that you keep building without value. Like if you create authentication over and over again, it's not gonna sell you. It's not your core product. So these are the things that you need to build, but is not your core product. And so I've essentially built an application that will take care of your plumbing, and then you can focus on your own value proposition. And yeah, I guess like moving towards the last bit is why you never see this microsas. Like if you at the beginning of this vlog, we talked about Naval Ravikant and why when you look at SaaS, it's always about the big names, the Netflix, the Googles of the SaaS world. It's because there's two things why you aren't seeing it. Because as an employee, you probably are on platforms that are more focused on the employee. So LinkedIn is one of them, and not people in LinkedIn are focused on being an employee. And I know I've seen a lot of posts there as well, like being an entrepreneur and stuff. But as an actual entrepreneur, people and other entrepreneurs as well are not in LinkedIn. And so people that network in LinkedIn is more human resources and actually just finding jobs in different companies. And so you never really see founders or tech startups or people that actually build those micro SaaS in LinkedIn. They're never there. And I know I tried looking them up. And so there are different places that you can actually find them. So there's three sites that are usually you can find the founders and find inspiration. So Twitter is one of them. Like there's a certain hashtag called building in public. This is an homage to Andrew Cleon's. Is it Andrew Cleon's? Andrew Cleon's show your work. Or is it show? Let me Google it. Yeah, Cleon. Different person was good. So he was the pioneer about talking about building in public and showing your work while you're building it. And so it up to now, so this was released 2014. Up to now, you can see people still building in public. Maybe let's quickly Google. Oh, this is my Twitter handle. Please do give me a follow if you're in Twitter as well. So essentially, if you search building in public, you can see a lot of people who are building their own micro SaaS are there. And it's good to connect with, I'm also there. You can see it's good to connect to other entrepreneurs that are actually building it. This is not something you see in LinkedIn. So you thought And as you see, you deep dive into this world of entrepreneurship and micro SaaS, you would see a lot of engineers that have been doing this for a long time and have been they are essentially earning hundreds of thousands of dollars on a SaaS that they build. And one good example is Levels IO, and this guy is a legend in the SaaS world essentially. So MRR is monthly recurring revenue. So these are his applications that he's built, and they are earning monthly recurring revenue. So this photo AI is earning 79,000 per month. And I know engineers that are earning 79,000 per year. So the discrepancy is insane. So this is his application. Very similar to Headshot Pro, but I guess like the AI is much advanced. And yeah, I'll let you do the deep dive on this. And there are a lot of different, they call it indie hackers. So this side as well, you go here. So the term to use in the if you're building your own micro SaaS is indie hackers. And essentially it's a one-man entrepreneur where you can build your own application from scratch and it will scale from there. And there's a lot of inspiration to be found in the internet, and it's not common knowledge as an employee, or if you're not used to, I guess, researching startups and tech. And so even Notion, so Notion is, I'm sure you've heard of Notion. Notion is the note-taking app. Notion started off as from a couple of indie hackers as a micro SaaS, and now almost everyone is using them. So there is a gap from micro SaaS and then it becomes a worldwide application, but there are a lot of applications that never reach that level of notoriety but are still earning as much as we seen a while ago, 79,000 per month. So yeah, that is the world of SaaS and indie hackers. I will let you decide what to do with that information. And maybe before I go, I'll show you this side as well. Product Hunt is where people are building a lot of their own applications, trying to get it off. And so you see different applications, micro SaaS being built every day, trying to, I guess, like launch their own application. And I don't want to say it'll be an easy journey, but it's a journey well worth taking. And if you find me there, like, do give me a follow as well if you're coming from this. So I have a couple of applications. I'll show you my profile. So I've been starting launching a couple of sites here and there, trying to test it out. So yeah, if you're interested, or if you have any questions, do leave a comment, like, subscribe. This will really help out this channel. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.